Let's start.
Okay, so FTP adapter in CPI.
Yes.
Okay, so as you know, last week I was recreating some training packages we have for PIPO in the cloud tenant, and I came to FTP scenario, and there wasn't an FTP adapter in
So
CPI.
you were migrating things from PIPO to CPI as a training package.
Yeah, I wanted to recreate all the integration scenarios in CPI as like a training package.
Yeah.
But there wasn't FTP adapter there. I didn't know how to do that integration without the adapter. So I just used SFTP, which basically for training purposes is basically the same. The configuration is not that different for training purposes.
Yeah, from a consultant's point of view, they are same. The integration logic will be the same, but they only differ technically.
Yeah, and then we talked about this video on the topics, and you said about the FTP adapter.
Yes.
So that's new.
That's new, and why it's new? Why it took some time to develop this? I think it's because FTP needs a lot of intricacies, like you need to open up ports. For example, if you are using active mode, the client needs to open a port. But in passive mode, client asks server to open up a port, and then client connects the server. But there's a lot of ports and connections going on. So from a cloud product perspective, you should consider all of these. I think from a security perspective, for example. So I think SAP wanted to get it right, and I think that's why it took so long.
Okay, but it's a pretty useful development, right?
Yes, because if customer or partner has an FTP and they want to use them, you need to find a solution. That's the burden of integration consultant and integration tools. They have to adapt and be dynamic about everything.
Okay, but luckily SAP, they have developed a file adapter, and it's pretty easy to use, right?
Yeah.
So what's the difference between FTP and SFTP?
Yeah, they can be confused. It's a common thing, but they are completely different protocols. FTP is much older if you look at the history of it, and it's based on some. It's a protocol on top of TCP/IP, and FTP can also be secure because you can use SSL. But SFTP is a protocol on top of SSH. So if you log into a Linux server, you are using SSH, and that protocol is always developing. So it's just a file protocol on top of SSH. So that brings a lot of advantages, and it's very active at the end. So it's common to use public and private keys to connect to servers, and it's very common in SFTP also.
Okay, and if we compare the adapter from PIPO in CPI, the CPI version is, in my opinion, is a lot more flexible, a lot easier to configure. What do you think about it? What are the features you like?
Personally, I like scheduler option in
me too.
CPI.
It's really nice.
That's the, I think, biggest change. And while developing custom adapters, we can't use scheduler tab. That's one thing I want to say. Maybe they should add that option also. And the other one is, in PO FTP adapter, when you are connecting to a server which only has read-only access, which some partners only give read access and they keep the data there all the time, and you don't have a good solution for that in PIPO. For example, we had to use some job internally to achieve this. You read a file and like they keep the file there forever, and you don't want to read that file again. And there's a feature in CPI for that, and it's called I think idempotent repository, and you have two options there, which is database and memory. Unfortunately, database option has 90 days limit. So I would like to use something forever with a forever limit, and it's better if we can just use a database we want and see the records, because sometimes you need to access that file again, and in the operation of things you can need you can have difficult requirements. You may want to pick just one file, and you can use an FTP client for that, but if it's better to give control to the consultants at that point. And other than that, there are as I said in the documents, it says it doesn't support active mode, and that's understandable because in active mode client, in this case being CPI, needs to open up a port to the server, so server connects to server becomes the client and connects to CPI, and that's very hard to get it right in a cloud product. So it doesn't support active mode, it supports passive mode, and for the security you have explicit FTPS, implicit FTPS, and plain FTP. So
what's the difference between those? What might the use cases be for each?
For example, you can use if you have the FTP server in your internal network, or if you have an FTP server somewhere which only accepts connections through a VPN or something, or if your partner wants you to use FTP without any security, you have to use it's something that comes out of necessity.
Right, okay.
I think otherwise you shouldn't use, and even the username password is not a good option. You should pick client based public private key authentication whenever possible. And in basically these options you will get from the server side, so you will get from a requirement, you will ask them, or you will try yourself to find out. But implicit is client connects to server with a secure channel and at the start, but then server decides to move this connection to encrypted or unencrypted one. In explicit, client has more control, but these are all technical details and low-level technical details from an integration point of view. And that's all my notes, I think. As I said, idempotent repository which has unlimited time and where we can see the entries would be great, in my opinion.
Okay, but so far it's a nice little addition
Yeah.
to the cloud platform. So,
Yes.
okay.
They are constantly adding new improvements, and I think they redesigned SAP roadmap site, so maybe we can have a look at that together.
And maybe we can make a video and bring to you the latest developments or upcoming developments from the SAP roadmap.
Yep. So that's all for now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Bye.